This is an example of how to enter a source document onto your daybooks. The first thing we need to find out is to establish the details on the particular source document. In this case, we're going to look at the information from a purchase invoice. First of all, we need to find out who is it from. And on the invoice, in this case, we will ascertain that it is from a company called Legal Eagle Solicitors. Then we look at the invoice or the source document and establish the date and the reference number of that document. In this case, we'll be using the date 12th of May 2011 and the reference number being 3456. We then establish the total amount of the bill or the purchase invoice, and we will arrive at a figure of 1822.50. What is the VAT element? In this case, the total VAT on the document is 322.50. And finally, what is the purchase invoice for? And we will go with the expense figures of legal fees of €1,000 and also a fee for rent, which is €500. The next step is to decide what daybook this document will be entered into. We have to check that all the relevant data is extracted and entered into the daybook that is required. And then we have to find out how that detail is to be analysed on that daybook. Finally, ensure that all the documents are entered for the particular period in the bookkeeping process. When all the entries are in that daybook, total the figures in each column. It is important to note that the total of the total column must equal the combined totals of the analysis columns. When this is done, you have successfully written up a purchase daybook. With the figures there in view, let's bring that information into the actual daybook itself. The daybook, we will call this as daybook, and we've already established that the name of the business is that particular business. In this case, we have entered It's My Business Limited. The details from that purchase invoice is the key information. For example, we need to enter into the daybook what is the date of that source document, and we have already said it's the 12th of May 2011. In the next column of the daybook, we have to enter who this particular invoice is from, and we have said it's from Legal Eagle Solicitors. The reference number is the docket number on that particular source document. In this case, it's 3456. In this column, we have to enter the total amount, which is the total expense plus the VAT, which is the total purchase invoice. In this case, it's €1,822.50. When we have the key information from that source document entered onto the daybook, we now have to extract that information and put it into its respective analysis columns. For example, we will have a column for VAT, and this is where we enter the amount of VAT, which in this case €322.50. We now have to define or tell the daybook what the exact expenses are, and we have two. The first one we will enter into the first column, which is legal fees, and the amount of legal fees is €1,000. We still have to post the remaining expense of this particular source document. In this case, it's rent, and the amount of rent on that bill was €500. What we have done is we have extracted the information from the source document into columns in our daybook. The aggregate of these three columns must total the total of the actual total column. When all the information for the particular month is entered, we need to total the total column, and by doing this, total all the analysis columns. In order to have your daybook completely accurate, the total of all the analysis columns must equal the total of the total column. This will lead to a successful writing up of your particular daybook, in this case the purchases daybook.